time, weather, and always class. Case
Good morning, Blade family, and welcome to the 30th week of school. This is the 30th Fireside Chat, and guess what? I am still the principal in the Blade family, Mr. Holland, and welcome to this week's announcements. All right, staff, the next staff meeting is going to be next Monday, the 19th. Of course, I'll send out a link between now and then. It'll be at 1:30 like always. Some announcements on the fundraiser fronts. First announcement for fundraisers from the Blade Booster Club. They want you to remember to order your Battle of the Blocks t-shirt for the East and Highland game. Only $15. The link will be over my shoulder. Hey, I saw last week there was a lot of interest out there in getting these shirts to commemorate what I believe is one of the best rivalry games in Bakersfield. That friendly neighborhood rivalry between East and Highland. Hey, make sure you get your shirt to commemorate that game, and hopefully our football program can go out there and get us some W's that night. Also on the fundraiser front, from the band and Miss Montano, please support the Blade Band and Color Guard by eating lunch, dinner, or both at the Panda Express on Mount Vernon on the 16th of April. Use this flyer, be over my shoulder, when you do, and they will get a whopping 20% of your order donated back to the Blade Band and Color Guard. What an awesome deal. We all love Panda Express. Make sure you go out on the 16th and support our Band and Color Guard by eating there. Now in terms of athletics, remember athletics for indoor athletics are actually getting going. I saw several girls showed up to get tested last week to make sure that they could participate. And the coaches were all there getting tested. I think we're getting ready to go for our indoor sports. So a last reminder this week before those practices get going. If you are playing basketball, make sure you've been in contact with Coach Dominguez for the boys and Coach Rendell for the girls. If you're interested in volleyball, I hope you reached out to Coach Clemens recently. We celebrated her last week at the Fireside Chat. What an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations again, Coach. And if you're interested in wrestling, that is Coach Alfredo Freddy Gonzalez. His email address is over my shoulder now as well. Special announcement for Coach Freddy. He wants me to remind any and all athletes who are interested in wrestling. That is any and all. That is boys or girls. Please make sure you reach out to him. And then one other announcement regarding teams is Coach Evans for our lower level boys basketball wants any boys, freshmen, or sophomores interested in basketball to please reach out to him. He's trying to get some things together to keep in contact with you and to keep things moving forward during the rest of spring and summer for those boys. Now for athletics that are already running, heartbreaker in football at North High, we had them and we let it slip through our fingers, but the boys fought the whole way through. Good job anyway, boys. Way to fight. Both levels, actually. Way to fight all the way through. That's what I expect out of Blades. For our swim team, a huge announcement from Mr. Jew. According to Mr. Jew, Friday was the first time since 1975 that the boys swim team has defeated Highland in a dual meet. Congratulations, varsity boys, on that awesome accomplishment. Way to go getting that big W. He also says he is still looking for kids. If you're interested in participating in swim, it's starting to get hot. A pool is kind of a cool place to go. So if you're interested in being a part of the swim team, reach out to Coach Jew, Kerry Jew. His email address is over my shoulder right now. Now, I've made a few announcements in the previous weeks regarding returning to school. This week, I'm going to take a lot of time to talk to the kids who are coming back, in particular, seniors who are starting today. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming back to school. I hope everybody made the decision that's appropriate for where you are right now and what you have going on in your family. So let's talk to those of you who are back here in person. Let us know that in advance. Several announcements for you. I want you to make sure that you get familiar with our procedures here. You're the ones who are going to set the tone for our safety, and I need you to be diligent in your studies and in that safety while you're here on campus. We need you to really focus on everything that you're doing and to have the right attitude about the restrictions that we have in place. Remember, these restrictions are not to make your life miserable. They're put in place so that we can have a healthy and safe transition back into in-person learning. So make sure you keep the right attitude about that. So be focused and have the right attitude. I need you to be mentors to the other classes as they start arriving. I've got 150 of you seniors here. Be mentors to the other kids that are coming. We'll talk about some of them that arrive next week in just a minute or two. I need you to have integrity. When you say that you're going someplace, I need you to go there, and I need you to be where you said you are going to be. This is very important right now. I cannot stress that enough, but it does go back to integrity. Do what you say you're going to do. And I need you to add to the legacy of this school. You are the first graduating class to start back at a school toward the conclusion of a pandemic. Last time we had a big pandemic, East Bakersfield High School hadn't been built yet. So you're the first ones. You are adding to a legacy by doing that. And I need you to be you. I need you to focus on what is right for you and to make sure you follow through on that. In other words, for the next few weeks, I need you to exemplify what it means to be a part of the Blade family. Those of you who are paying attention, you know exactly what I did there. We have to be dialed in on that focus, the right attitude, being mentors, having integrity, building on our legacy, and making sure you're focused on you. So, here are some things that you need to be mindful of with regards to all of that. The first one I cannot stress enough, and I've said this many times over the previous 29 Fireside Chats. If you are on campus at East Bakersfield High School, I expect you to have a mask on that covers your mouth and nose. I do not want to walk out and see you wearing a chin diaper. I don't want you wearing a mouth guard. I'm being very precise. I expect you to have a mask on that covers your nose and mouth. Now listen, you might be healthy. You may have already had COVID in your house. You may, in fact, already be vaccinated. But that doesn't mean the kid sitting next to you is. Nor does it mean that that student isn't being raised by someone or have a family member who's immunocompromised and cannot be vaccinated, or a pre-existing condition. You don't know everybody's story. And if you haven't learned yet, this pandemic is actually about all of us. We have to work together. So I expect you to be wearing a mask. Next, when you travel from room to room in our school, I need you to move clockwise when you're in our halls. Please enter at the door nearest to your room to the east of your room. So when you're coming in from outside, find the closest outside door that is to the east of the room that you're going to and enter in that door. And then move in a clockwise direction to get to the class that you're going to. This may seem to you to be unnecessary, but it's actually extremely important. We do not want to create bottlenecks. So all of our halls are essentially one-way halls. I do not want to walk into a hall during a passing period and see students going in opposing directions. We want everybody moving the same way in the halls to prevent bottlenecks from occurring. That's the safest way to get around through hallways, and I expect us to do that. It's going to take some time to plan out how to get from one room to the next. So think it through. You only have to think it through for 2 movements a day, really, between the first and second period of the day and the second and third period of the day. Think through the best way to get there. When you exit your class, you need to exit and go to the closest door to the west of where you were and go outside. What we really want is for you to move around campus in the open air outside and only use the hallways during those passing periods when you have to, as necessary, closest to the room that you're trying to get to, moving in the appropriate direction. It's going to take a minute to figure that out, but I think you guys can. I'm really a big advocate of you guys getting outside into the open air as quickly as possible and utilizing all the open space, the beautiful interior of campus that we have to get from room to room. On the outside, it's not quite as big a deal that y'all move in the same direction. In fact, you really can't. But make sure you keep social distancing. So the next thing is to make sure that you keep that social distancing in mind. Right now, the guidelines say that you need to have at least 3 feet of space between you and other kids. So that's basically an arm's length away. Make sure when you're moving around, if you're talking to someone out in the open air, you're standing about an arm length away from everyone that you're talking to. If you've ever seen myself talking to any of the other administrators or people here on campus, you'll notice that we kind of triangulate around each other and keep about 6 feet of space between one another as we talk. I expect you guys to pick up that same practice. Do not get in each other's personal space to have conversations. Even though you're wearing masks, you can hear each other just fine from 3 feet away. Now, when you get to your classrooms, you will notice that there are many desks that have a big blue X on them. Don't sit in the desk with an X on it. Those desks are X'd off to provide for that social distancing that I just talked about of 3 feet. All the desks in your classroom should be about 3 feet apart or more. So when you get to your classes, in order to maintain that appropriate spacing, you'll see that some desks will have an X on them. Don't sit in those desks. Make sure when you come to school, you bring your own water bottle, and you are not allowed to eat inside. I want you eating out in the open air, outdoor dining. You've seen that around town. We have the same thing going on here if you get breakfast in the morning. As for water, bring your own water bottle. We have water filling stations located at a few places around campus that we'll allow you to use. Those are in the admin building, in the weight room, and in the cafeteria. If you have any questions about that, you can always reach out and we'll direct you to the place where you need to go to refill your water bottle. If you need to bring extra water bottles, feel free to do so. Now, here's the big thing, seniors. There are 150 of you who told us that you would like to come back this week. So I have an expectation that we're going to have about 150 seniors who are on campus. You guys are the partners I need to help us make sure that our plans are solid and dialed in. And the reason that's important is because next week you will be joined by 200 little freshman bladelets, all bright-eyed, who've never been on a site before. They have not experienced the most beautiful high school in Bakersfield yet. And in order to make that a reality for them, I need y'all to make sure you follow these protocols, make sure we've got our stuff dialed in, so when we get those little bladelets next week, they can see the example being set by the upperclassmen. Because for a full week, it's just going to be you guys and the freshmen starting next Wednesday. So let's make it happen, Blades. I know you can do this. Make sure you're following those procedures so that we can keep you guys safe. Again, there's no big wheel today. Be well. We'll get the big wheel back next week. Go Blades.